What is up, guys? What's up? So Bitcoin very, very close to the all-time high here. Give me just a moment. So yeah, I mean we're what? Just a few $100 off. I actually started streaming incorrectly there. That last one. But yeah, so here we are, guys. We're very close. 73,558. That red line is the Bitstamp chart, all-time high. Go to like Coinbase, mark up the all-time high. And just below 74,000. What's up, guys? I haven't gone live in quite a while. It's been a long time. But I think it right now kind of calls for it, right? I've gotten so many requests over the past year to go live more, but I mean, since March there hasn't been much of a reason, and here we are about to change the game for Bitcoin. Yeah, it's a live stream party. What's up? Just looking at the people coming in. Who do we got coming in here? I see a lot of familiar faces and a lot of new faces. Anthony M is in the chat. Been a while. Torgas says, yo, what's up, guys? Once again, that red line is the all-time high price right there. Go to the Kraken chart, put up the all-time high price. On some exchanges, we may have already touched it, depending on which one. A little bit of rejection here, but nothing major just yet. I haven't streamed in a while, so I don't really have it all set up. I don't have the music set up, but there wasn't really any time to waste. It at least appears as if we're coming up now really close. So let's just like put an alert on that point so we know if it ends up showing up. Pretty amazing to see, guys. As we wait for that. Oh, wait, hold on. Is it I mean, this could really happen at any moment. So we are let's see. 0.3% from the previous high right there. 0.3% away. Just a good old 0.3%. So close, guys. And the exciting thing is that, as we discussed in my videos, if you were to take a look at that descending broadening wedge target, downward sloping resistance and the downward sloping support, the actual breakout of this, which obviously we've broken out of this pattern now, but the textbook formula is you just mark the high, go to the low, measure the height of the pattern, and then place it on the breakout zone. Now, depending on what you do this on, I could go to linear or log scale. From high to low, place on the breakout zone. This is on log. On log scale, the breakout is like 102,000. Sorry, 102,000 is the breakout target on log scale, but that does change if you flip it back to linear scale from high to the low of the pattern. Then it gives you something like 92,000 roughly is the descending broadening wedge breakout target. And of course, it's always better to be on the side of like skeptic or defense, I guess. So I'd rather just use this target, 92,000. Nonetheless, it's pretty damn good. And people think that sounds crazy, right? It sounds crazy, it seems crazy, but having a move from here to there is really no different than what we saw from October to March, like that swing up, or even like up, going from 15,000 to 30,000. I mean, going from 67 to 92. I mean, that's pretty normal for Bitcoin. That's really not out of the ordinary. The only people that don't believe it or that won't want to believe it are the people that have been bearish recently. But that is the target that we're looking for now, guys. And it does go right along with our parabolic trend. The good old parabola is still in play. I mean, guys, look how easy it is to draw this. For all the people that are skeptical of the idea of a parabola, look how easy it is. You just click on your curved line tool, you go to the 15.5K low, and you just drag it out, and it fits like a glove. Boom. Perfect. It's a parabola. You can't argue it. It's mathematics, guys. It's math. Exponential higher lows. It is a parabolic trend on the macro scale. So be sure to smash the like and subscribe if you're new to the channel. We used to go live on this channel all the time. That's kind of how I actually was discovered by most people. But it's easier to communicate points through the edited videos. But in moments like this, it's good to go live. Bitcoin still waiting for the breakout. Let's see what we got in chat right now. Guys, let me know if everything's good. Is the mic good? The image is good? I just want to make sure we're good to go here on all fronts. Craig is in the chat. I haven't seen that name in quite a while. Good to see you. Sorry, I have my chat like over here. I'm not really prepared for live at the moment. Of course, that's probably going to change soon. Haven't been doing much live streams recently. Yeah, we got some the old moderators in here. Bilal coming in with the $20 tip. Oh, wait, hold on. We have a new member that just joined. Eye of the Beholder, I appreciate it. Thank you for becoming a member. Actually, I created the members feature on this channel like a few weeks ago. So you might actually be the first member, Eye of the Beholder. You might actually be the first member of this channel. So congratulations to you. And now we have a $20 tip from Bilal saying, can you do TA on FET? Yeah, we'll get to the altcoins in a second, guys, but I mean, we're in a moment. Let me see if I can just like write. I'm just going to start writing requests down because otherwise I'll probably forget. Right now, I don't want to really, I mean, we probably do have time to look at other things. But Bitcoin is kind of the focus here for the time being. Roger that wow says Kevin Twinson, this live stream reminds me so much of 2019 and 2021 when you did the often streams. Yeah, I mean, the only thing that's different this time, guys, is the lack of music. Usually we would have like it's more of a setup, more music, more sounds, whatever. But this was kind of just like I was just at my desk doing some work, whatever, and I saw the price. I was like, wait, we're like right there, and I was like, just gonna go live, just gonna click live right now. Why not? How many people do we have in here? 590. Be sure to smash the like, guys. If there's 590 people watching this stream, then we should have 590 likes. Smash the like button and subscribe if you're new. Laser Eyes Kev is almost back. That's right. Laser Eyes Kev is near. And you know what? You know what's also almost back? The epic meme videos. The cinematic meme edits that I do all the time. Or that I do when things are happening in the market. Those are going to return very soon. There's going to be some epic videos coming out now as we're entering new all-time highs for Bitcoin. So, I mean, it's kind of amazing when you go back and you just take a look at the elections. Let's go to like the BLX. Look at these elections, and you can see every single all-time high break has taken place right after or during the election. 2012, Bitcoin breaks the all-time high 1 to 3 months after the election. 2016 election, 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, you know, it was also 3 months, or 2 months, but The metric that I go by is not just touching a new all-time high. I like to, and guys, this is not the updated price. This is yesterday's daily close. The metric that I go by is when does Bitcoin begin to trend above the all-time high? Because that's what really matters, not just touching it. In 2016, 2017, we touched the all-time high, but we didn't start trending above it until 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 months after the election. 2020, we started trending above the all-time high in December, 1 month after. So, I mean, it's every time, guys, every single time. I don't know if Satoshi's just a genius or if it's a coincidence, but Bitcoin's halvings line up with the U.S. elections. Check it out. It's like right here, the first halving is literally the month after the election. Second halving is a few months before the election. Third halving, a few months before the election. And it goes along with the global liquidity cycles. Also the global liquidity cycles, guys. What are we at now? 73. So we dipped a little bit, I guess, in the short term. Little bit of a dip. Still getting higher lows, though. Still getting bought up. At a certain point, it's difficult to stop Bitcoin. At a certain point, guys. If you've noticed in all the past cycles, go back to the weekly chart. When you get up close to the all-time high, you just kind of swing right through it. 2016, 2017, there's a little bit of chop, a couple weeks down, but then you just kind of push straight through it. The Bitcoin market doesn't like to give second chances when it's breaking the all-time high. What I mean by that, it doesn't like to break the all-time high and then come back below it. Like, it doesn't trend above the all-time high and then come back below. It might touch it and come back down, but once it starts to trend above the all-time high, it's usually up and away. 2020, break the all-time high. No second chances until, of course, the bear market. And Bitcoin right now, if we start to get a couple weekly closes above the all-time high, it'll probably be up and away. I don't think the market's going to want to give second chances. What's up? 658 people. Be sure to hit the like button and subscribe if you're new. There's a lot of chat today here, guys, in this live stream. I don't think I'm going to be able to get to all of it. I'm not going to be able to read all of it, guys. So don't get angry if I don't read your comment or don't see it, because I'm not going to sit here and just read all the comments, because I got to be a host. I got to talk. Johnny M says, hey, what's up, man? Good to see you live. Yeah, I appreciate it, guys. Anthony M says, it's been a long time, but it isn't a bull run without live streams from you. I appreciate that. That's usually a sign of a bull run, guys. I'm not really going live until it really, until the cycle's really starting to come in. I mean, people want me to go live all the time, but imagine going live since March. I mean, come on. It make you fall asleep. Make you fall asleep, guys. But now things are changing. We finally have a breakout of the descending running wedge. And that breakout target is a macro breakout target of 92. Roughly anywhere from 91 to 94,000 is where this is ending up, depending on how you plot it. And that is within the parabola. Let me pull up a chart real quick. I want to show you guys sort of a further explanation on exactly what it is that I'm looking for with this parabola. Sorry that I'm looking this way. I have another screen. I'm not really set up for live streams at the moment, but hold on. I'm going to bring you guys the parabolic trend analysis. If I can find it, it's got to be here somewhere. What was one of my tweets? I think it's right here somewhere. There it is. So just like we were talking about this descending broadening wedge, there's the parabolic trend, which we've been in for quite a long time. And the descending broadening, the textbook price objective is telling us that the height of the pattern itself is the price objective when you place it on the breakout zone. At the time that I did this, it was 91. Now, where we're breaking at, where we broke this resistance, shifted it a little bit to like 92. Depends on exactly how you plot it. Anywhere from 91 to 94,000 is the base 4 price objective for the parabolic trend. And that means that we will probably settle up there for quite a long time. If you look, so we're not necessarily breaking the all-time high just yet. We're close, though. But if you think about how much time passes in between these moves, from March to October, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, 8 months in 2023 of literally just sideways. March, right? March, October. Interestingly enough, March again to October again. There is seasonality in markets. Markets run up, Q2 becomes boring, sideways, end of year, Q4 is usually very bullish. Election years are always bullish, except for one, which was 2008, Barack Obama. Every other election year, you're going up into the election, through the election. It's like after like World War I, World War II, every single election, we were going up through it. 2001, I think that the market started to top during the election, but we were bullish going into it before it. So 2001 was sort of like going up into it, started to curl over into the election, or 2000, whatever, George W. Bush, Barack Obama, bearish into the election. Those two are like really the only ones that were not great or just different. I mean, some people are shocked when I show them this. Just go to the S&P and go to the monthly chart. You go back in time. So you have Truman, nothing's really going on in the election. Eisenhower, we're going up into the election, dump after. Eisenhower again, up into the election, dump after. Kennedy, we came down, and then we went up into the election. We started to bounce and into the inauguration going up. Lyndon B. Johnson, up into the election. Nixon, up into the election. Nixon again, up into the election. Carter, up into the election. Reagan, up into the election. Reagan again, up into the election. George H.W. Bush, we dumped for the 1987 crash. But then we went up in and through the election. Bill Clinton, up in the election. Bill Clinton, number 2, up through the election. And this is the one I was talking about, George W. Bush. We went up into it and then started to curl over. We had the dot-com bubble. George Bush, second term, up into the election. Barack Obama is the only one where it was just like devastatingly bad going into the election, right? The only one. Barack Obama, second term, up in the election. Donald Trump, up in the election. Joe Biden, up through the election. Back in the day, from the 60s to the 80s, we did have a little bit of sort of election dumpage. So inauguration dumps, I should say. We would pump into the election and dump after the inauguration. That was sort of the playbook. It's crazy. Look at it. That was the playbook for quite a long time. And then it started to change. I think it was like after it was Reagan's second term that pattern started to shift. Because then we just started going up through elections for the most part. So right now it's, once again, you're going to see one of these. I mean, this is an indicator that I put on TradingView, U.S. presidential elections names and dates. I realized it didn't exist on TradingView, and I was like, what the hell? And so it was pretty simple, but I just put this together. So now you can just look at elections and inaugurations going back to 1936, way back. Just a nice historical reference. Guys, pump the stream, smash the likes. We got 800 people watching, which means we should have 800 likes. Why not, right? How many of you guys are just so lazy that you can't move your hand and click a button? I'm just kidding. But that is what I think in my head. Like, what the hell, guys? Yeah, I kind of figured. Kicks on feet just says you went live and everything falls. Yeah, I mean, if you're superstitious, you're going to say, oh, Kev going live caused the market to dip. But really, the market was just up when I went live, right? I could have went live right here, and you would have blamed me for this dip right there, right? It's just, we were so close, couldn't resist. I needed to go live. I was like, really, really close. Let's take a look at some of the indicators. RSI, daily RSI. So this is an interesting one. Whoops. If you were looking at the daily RSI structure on the last dip, we had a perfect touch off of the daily RSI uptrend line. That was your long signal. Well, we created the low here. That low right there bounced here. That kind of created the trend. And once you had that on your map, right there, 43.5 was that low right there. Perfect bounce off the RSI trend line. Run up. And where did we get resistance? Right along daily RSI structure. Same thing, guys. Just an upward sloping channel in the daily RSI. Bouncing, rejecting, bouncing, rejecting, right there. So in order to break the all-time high, we're going to have to break the daily RSI upward sloping resistance channel line. So that's what's going to be needed here. You're going to want to see the daily close above the daily RSI resistance, change of structure, maybe bounce off the overbought level, and get continuation, something, whatever, something along these lines. That's what we're going to want to see, is a change of RSI structure for the resistance. So that's what would happen basically if we break the all-time high. Now, a lot of people who are probably new, to looking at things like the RSI, they think that being overbought is just bad, which in a sideways market, sure, that's usually a sign that you're going to find a resistance in a sideways market. In a bullish market, being overbought is actually a sign that things are about to get started. Right here, February 9th, Bitcoin enters the overbought zone on the daily RSI. It's overbought, right? But we basically stay overbought until over here. We had a slight dip below it, but we're basically just trading in the overbought zone until the literal top. And that was your signal. So you could have longed the overbought zone, quote unquote, and then exited upon exited your position upon breaking below the overbought zone. A little bit of a head and shoulders there too. But yeah, I mean, if you literally bought the overbought zone breakout, you could have made 60 plus %. If you longed into the overbought zone upon this move. So I'm just trying to I'm not saying I'm not saying you should just buy overbought zones. Absolutely not. But when the market is trending, that's usually the sign of the start of the run. Same thing right here. Overbought, and then we exit overbought here. But still, I mean, it pumps. Bitcoin enters the daily, on the daily, overbought, pretty much right there, and we run up from, what is that, like 17 to 25? And if you go back to 2020, check this out. The overbought level was the support line for the entire run-up from 11 to 20, more or less, or 19. That was literally your support. You could have been longing the overbought zone retests as new support right there. So you enter overbought, and that pretty much kicks off your run. Boom. Whoops. If you go to from here to there, that's what? 64%? You could have made 64% after entering the overbought zone. So that's my point here, guys. Look. Where are we right now? We're now entering the overbought zone. So people that don't understand that concept of overbought sort of initiating runs will look at this and go, oh, Bitcoin's overheated. It's you know, not necessarily, guys. This might just be the start of a much larger run. So on the daily chart, I mean, a lot of these moves will last like, what is that, 24 days in the overbought zone. From here to there, that's 35 days in the overbought zone. From here to there, that's 20 days in the overbought zone, 20 to 35 days, 20 to 35 days in the overbought zone. I mean, this is just a random estimate. That could be taking us into December, you know. So we could be seeing a nice run. You know, this zone brought us up 30% until we exited overbought. This zone brought us up 60% until we exited overbought. 30, 60%, 40%, whatever you want to call it. I mean, that might be what we're looking at here. If we close this daily in the overbought zone on the daily, well, in theory, I don't know. I mean, it sounds crazy. It actually could bring us right up to the descending broadening wedge breakout target. Just going based off of what I just talked about, 30% up. Pretty conservative. Descending broadening wedge target, 91 to 94,000. I don't know if that's going to happen that soon, though. I don't want to say it's going to happen in a month, though. I feel like that's a little bit over the top of a prediction. It's a little bit over the top, guys. But, I mean, it didn't stop Bitcoin from going from 45 to 74 in 35 days. 35 to 74 in 35 days. 72 to 94 in 30 days. I mean, listen, I'm just looking at the chart. Don't blame me. What's up, guys? Going to look through chat real quick. We have another super chat. Kevin, nice to see you live. Dear Kevin, we pump it all together. That's right. We're going to pump it all together, guys. I appreciate that. Crypto for everybody. We had one new member join today. That was the first member, I think, ever. So I opened up the member, sort of the join button. I think that's now live on this channel. And at some point, if we're going to be doing a lot of live streams, we might be doing members only live streams, depending on how it goes. Mac Twin says you're sleeping on XRP. I think XRP is sleeping. I think it's actually the other way around, guys. I think XRP is asleep. I'm gonna get a lot of backlash for this one. Yeah, this was something I put on there. I know you hate me now. You already hate me because this is on the screen. I know it. It's fine. It's fine. I'll just sort of push that out of the way. Yeah, so didn't even keep up with inflation. Every time it's pumped, it gets dumped on. Who's doing that? Who owns the most XRP? Who's doing this? Why can't you get any growth? Why is XRP unable to see any growth? I'm assuming whoever holds the most XRP is dumping into all the pumps and pushing those profits back to their investors. And everyone's just left holding the bag. I don't know, just a hunch. XRP is asleep, guys. Someone asked me my thoughts on ADA. Technically, Cardano is the most overvalued asset in the entire market. Technically. It is the most overvalued asset in the entire market. I think, what was it? Wen Moon in our Discord, I think it was the price. What is it? What was it called again? The price to fee ratio or something like that. One of those metrics. I'm going to have to double check that, but it is the most overvalued asset in the entire space, unfortunately. I don't know, guys. I'm just going to tell you what I think. I'm just going to tell you what I think. I know you're not going to like it sometimes, but that's okay. We're looking at, so the total crypto market cap has come up 3.1% today. Total volume, 151 billion. Top gainers in the past 24 hours, Sui, Popcat, Dog with Hat, Floki's in there, a lot of memes in here, Dogecoin's in there, SPX is in there. We're just riddled with Pepe's in there, riddled with meme coins, guys. Shiba's in here somewhere. Cat in a dog's world. A lot of memes. Sui is the one that sort of makes sense to be the number one right now. Makes sense. Probably going to be one of the just strongest performers of the cycle. Not necessarily by percentage gains at this point, but just in general, probably Sui's poised to be one of the strongest performers in the altcoin market overall. A lot of interest there, guys. So Bitcoin has not had any real rejection yet, right? I mean, the 4 hour, a bit of a wick there. No major rejection just yet. Bitcoin MACD. Yeah, I like to see this. We held the neutral zone there. Wait, are my settings might not be default. They are not. These are my custom settings. 13 to 34, fast length 13, slow length 34. Those are Fibonacci numbers. And it smooths out your MACD. And each cross becomes just more meaningful, at least from my experience. The crosses are a little bit cleaner, right? Because if you turn on the default, you'll have a cross down here, which kind of just puts in too much noise. I like to use 13 and 34 fib numbers. Just makes it a little smoother. Not necessarily something to do with the fib. It's just smoother numbers, smoother values. Oh man, we're at that point in the cycle now where everybody's asking about their favorite coin. Everyone's just saying, Kev, this coin, that coin. Uh-oh. Here we go, guys. We're back. We are back. And so, ready? This is literally part of the lesson that I was talking about on my channel for so long and in my Patreon and in the Discord. Because the number one question I got for so long, and I had to answer this question every single day, and I gave the same answer every single day for like a year or more. People say, when alt season? When alt season? And they would ask me, the same people would ask me every day, and I would say, when Bitcoin begins trending above the all-time high. And you can actually see why in the chat right now. Because Bitcoin's near the all-time high, a bunch of people are now saying this coin, that coin. They're all asking about all these different coins. What opportunities are there? Look at the chat. Everyone's talking about altcoins. This is what I'm saying. When Bitcoin is near the all-time high, investor confidence, this chat room goes up, right? Everyone gets excited. They get enthusiastic. They're willing to, Bitcoin near the all-time high. They're willing to just toss money into the market. And that's how alt season is born, is when Bitcoin begins trending above the all-time high. And there were so many people that were trending above the all-time high, guys, not just touching it. Keyword, when Bitcoin begins to trend above the all-time high. And, we're sort of back at the all-time high. I think a lot of people are pretty confident in the all-time high break here. So it's starting to happen. Everyone's talking about altcoins. This is why. Confidence is high. The total 3 altcoin market cap is near the resistance here. Whoops, let me just mark this up. So when I guess at this point, like pretty much when. Like I could say if we break out, it's starting to seem like when, right? I always like to stay on the side of not making claims like Bitcoin is going to go to 500,000. Like, no. We're not going to say it's going to. Anybody who says that it's going to is immediately a clown because they don't actually know. You can't say it's going to do this. People say in markets, people all the time, it's going to go down. It's going to go up. No, it's not. How do you know that? How do you know that? You're immediately a clown if you use that language. Right? That's not very like whatever. Anyway, if we look at the total 3 altcoin market cap, the setup is literally the same as last cycle. Timing's the same. Setup is pretty much the same. Structure is a little different. You have a high, a lower high, a dump into an accumulation range, and then a break of resistance, which leads you into a consolidation that takes place when? Right before the election. Boom. And then after election, huge move up to break the lower high. High, current cycle high, lower high, dump into an accumulation range, break resistance into a consolidation. Consolidation. It's like really, really similar. And from that consolidation breakout into the election, you have about 10 weeks, roughly, give or take, from sort of where we are here, like, you know, another 2 months, maybe, and you should be breaking that lower high. So altcoins are set up for a huge move here, guys, to that lower high. And this is something that nobody really likes to hear, but I'm going to say it. The majority of all your gains will take place in half a year. And that's it. 6 months. You have 6 months to make your money for the most part. For the most part. The majority. I'm not saying all, the majority. You go from election, straight line up to this resistance. Okay, yeah, you go up a little higher for the altcoins. Let's measure from that high to the next higher high. Okay, you miss out on 14%, 15% from that high to the next high. That's it. It's really just a bunch of nonsense. It's a bunch of latecomers coming in, pushing the market back up, hoping that the market will go higher, and then it just dies, right? You have about 6 months after the election, and that's majority of your gains. The rest is sideways and down. The rest is nonsense. Yes, you might be able to pull more profits into the very end. It's going to go higher, whatever. But I'm saying the majority, it's about 6 months. That's it. That's where all your gains are really taking place. And then you're just sitting there hoping and praying and going through a bunch of nonsense. Look at this, guys. Bitcoin from this zone up, that's 6 months. And then what happens after 6 months? Nonsense. Done. 6 months is really where all the money is made. And the rest is just for the latecomers and the larger players who need some time to distribute to the dumb money that comes in at the end. If you're not here for the next 6 months, most likely, right, because this cycle could play out in any which way possible, but most likely, if you're not here in the next 6 months, you're not really making all that much in comparison to the people that were here now before the election. So that's kind of the secret, guys, is that in 6 months, you got to look at your portfolio and go, this is probably most of what I'm going to make. Yeah, I mean, maybe my portfolio could even double after this, possibly, depending on what you're holding, but it's probably the vast majority. Yeah, at the most, it would double again or something like that. But at the vast majority of your gains will be there in 6 months. You gotta make sure you understand that. What's up? So looking at the chat right now, yes, sir. Everyone wants to know about his portfolio. Axelar today. I guess these are some of my Patreon Discord members. By the way, guys, oh yeah, that's right. Forgot to mention. Once we break the all-time high, I'm going to be raising the prices for Patreon, and you can only get in my Discord by being a Patreon member. Because some of my members are mentioning some of the altcoins that we have in here right now. But yeah, it's pretty much your last chance. How many? What are we? We're $1,000 away. $1,000 away from the pretty much the lowest prices you're going to get for the rest of the cycle for Patreon, which is also Discord. You can't get into the Discord without being a Patreon member. And every weekday starting at 10:30 a.m. Eastern time, we do voice chats in the Discord 1 hour after the U.S. stock market opens. You guys can talk to me directly. We have discussions, altcoins, charts, trends, trades, all that stuff. Just seeing what I missed in chat. The Pi cycle top indicator shows the next target. That has been a good one, yeah. Also, well, Pi cycle top has been exceptionally accurate. I did not think it was going to be last cycle, but it was. Let's see, here's another one, guys. This is one that I released. One of our members, Tom, in my Patreon Discord, pointed out to me that whenever the total three, the altcoin market cap, whenever the altcoin market cap matches the market cap of Bitcoin, we're near the top. So here's something else. Aside from just the Pi cycle top indicator that you guys probably all know, this was just released on my TradingView account. When the total three gets to a 1-to-1 ratio with Bitcoin's market cap, altcoin market cap, Bitcoin market cap equal each other, you're pretty much at the top. Everything's overheated, overextended, overvalued. It was pretty close, pretty damn close. Look at the last, there's 2018 zone. Right there was that's probably the best sell signal you're going to get, realistically, if you just sold on that. Or you could have sold on the crossing of one, somewhere over there. Or you could have sold on the cross of 0.75, which was actually closer to the top. The real thing about this indicator is that it's in between 0.75 and 1. So when the total three is going from 0.75 or 75% the size of Bitcoin's market cap going into 1-to-1 equal to, that's right sort of where your top comes in. And you can see it right here, 2021. We're crossing 0.75, the yellow line, and we're coming up to 1. And that's happening pretty damn close to the top. Pretty damn close. The next time it happens, it's a lower high. Altcoins are equal to Bitcoin's market cap. The next time it happens is a little bit after the actual all-time high. Regardless, this indicator, if you just started selling on every pump after this signal flashed, you would be selling into the top. It's just generally giving you the right zone to be cautious of the end of cycle. Now, the altcoins remained equal to Bitcoin's market cap for this entire move down until the FTX collapse, and then the altcoins started to totally just lose dominance right there. Bitcoin started running up. And if you look at history, guys, check this out. Well, we're nowhere near the top. We're nowhere near the top right now. This indicator, it's on my TradingView profile. Published it, I think, a week or two ago. Altcoins versus Bitcoin market cap heat map. And we're nowhere near the end of the cycle. We're just starting to break the all-time high. And the election is usually when we do that. And that's coming up right, coming right up, right? So we're in a position now of pretty good opportunity. What you might see and what we saw in the last cycle is the altcoin versus Bitcoin heat map, basically the total three versus Bitcoin, the altcoin market cap versus Bitcoin. The altcoins did not dump here. Bitcoin just gained value faster than the total three, right? So making sure you guys understand that. It's just showing the ratio. Bitcoin was gaining value very quickly. The altcoins pretty much just sat still, and the total three value went down against Bitcoin, although the altcoins were kind of just either flat or slightly going up. And here, once again, you can see the altcoins are certainly not dumping today. but you can see it's ticking down against Bitcoin. The total 3 is ticking down against Bitcoin because Bitcoin is just going up much faster. So we might see, if you see a V bottom in this ratio, total 3 versus Bitcoin, if you see a V bottom bounce, that might be your signal of like go, go, go altcoin season. Right there on a V bottom, just like over there. So once you see that turnaround, like after, basically after this all-time high break right there, once you see the total 3 versus Bitcoin turn around and start coming up after the election and all-time high break, I mean, the formula, the setup is right here, right now, pretty much. So that's what you're looking for. We're in the same setup. So alt season is pretty close in theory. So that's one thing, right? And then if you go to my Bitcoin halving cycle profit indicator, you can see that the 80th week is usually, so you have the halving, 80 weeks later is your last call to take profit, 2020 halving, 80 weeks later is your last call to take profit. It's just a simple weekly count, but this is also being driven by the stock market and the global liquidity cycles. It just so happens to be around 80 weeks after the halving is when we top. This is more of a model than it is an indicator. It's like a Bitcoin halving cycle profit model. But in 2013, the top came in closer to the 40th week profit start zone. But the 80th week was still the lower high / last call to take profits before a major downturn. And right now you can see for Bitcoin moving forward, January is profit start. October of 2025 is profit end. Does it have to be the 80th week? No. Does it have to be the 40th week? No. It's just somewhere in here. Usually it's aligned with the 80th week, I guess, usually with a few cycles we have to look at. It's usually closer to the 80th week, especially for the altcoins. The altcoins are usually doing best going into the final stage of the cycle, closer to the 80th week. Certain altcoins like Chainlink topped out closer to the 40th week and had a lower high on the 80th week. So it depends, right? If your altcoin that you're holding is a really, really good performer going into the 40th week, well, you might want to take profits on that one a little bit more because it might give you a lower high, right? The altcoin that you're holding that's doing well into the 40th week. The best performers going into the new year may not be the best performers going into Q4 of 2025. There's rotations. And once something in crypto becomes really high value, speculators aren't that interested anymore. They're going to look for other things. And then it just gets a lower high bounce into the end. Looking at chat. What is up, everybody? Welcome to the live stream. Haven't been live in a while. Be sure to smash the like if you're watching this. Subscribe if you're new. And also we have a member only's option, the join button down below, which is new. I just turned that on the other week. Now let's see. Bitcoin is 72,578. Yeah, I mean, I don't want to sit here and wait for it necessarily. For all I know, we kind of just go sideways and go up maybe tomorrow or at the end of the week, or who knows, right? Maybe we just don't go straight through the all-time high. Maybe we do. I'm not going to sit here and wait for it because it could be an indefinite amount of time. But I wanted to go live because I want to start going live more on this channel now that things are happening. Just wanted to do a quick starter stream for the cycle. We do have a super chat from somebody that was asking about FET, a generous $20 tip. So we're going to take a look at it here. Wait. What was I looking at? I guess I have stuff on the chart already. Yeah, for example, if you're looking at the halving cycle profit indicator, the first top comes in for FET around 40, right after 40, and the second top is literally like on the 80th week, I think. I mean, it's pretty much the top on the 80th week after the halving. That's the profit end. Literally, this model could have told you, that's it, take what you got, time's up. Because time is more important than price. If your price targets haven't been reached by a certain point in time, your price targets won't get reached because time is more important than price. The cycles only last a certain amount of time. There's only a certain amount of time up to the next halving. There's only a certain amount of time up to the next election. So there has to be an up cycle and a down cycle. And if your targets are not reached by the 80th week after the halving, according to this model, it could be wrong. But if your targets are not reached by the 80th week after the halving, you got to sell. Your time's up. Your asset just didn't do what you wanted. Time's up. Time to sell. Time is more important than price. Time is more important than price. I mean, that's something that a lot of people don't think about, and I'm trying to just make sure I repeat myself because that'll save your life. Time targets are more important than price targets. Let's see. FET. What do we got? Uptrend line. Somebody was asking about this. Gave me a tip. Oh wait, this was probably was this a monthly? I think I was looking at the monthly. Yeah, we had a monthly candle body close zone, and we got a direct touch off that on that wick down, and we're onto the uptrend line. So it is trending. It's been trending since the end of 2022, holding the uptrend line. Your most critical zone is going to be around 75 cents. Monthly candle close structure, major wick low on the monthly right there. So that would be, in theory, this would be a great buy zone if we got down there. Maybe it doesn't happen. What else do we got? Let's look at the RSI. I mean, you might be looking at, so 50 was resistance, the 50 level on the RSI. If we cross 50, you might just run up towards the overbought zone. That might actually be the target. I mean, it seems to be what FET does when we cross 50, it just gets to overbought. Cross 50, gets to overbought. Cross 50, touches overbought. Rejects the 50 level, rejects 50, crosses 50, enters overbought. Crosses 50, enters overbought. I don't know, maybe if we start to break out here, if you break above your downward sloping resistance line, it's just the behavior of the asset that I'm noticing. Your target might be somewhere right above overbought. Seems to be the pattern here. Your first fib target from high to low is coming in at $5.38, and you have two 1618 targets that are somewhat aligned at $8. You could just say $8. I know this one's at $9.35, but just go with the lower target. I think it's always safer to go with the lower target than the higher target. It's more likely to hit. $8, roughly $8.15 would be your. I mean, maybe it's a bit of a stretch, but that could be where the price ends up if we run towards the overbought zone. Maybe 5.38 or 8.15. Somewhere in there might be your target on the next major run. MACD's flat on the weekly. And let's see. You do have slight bullish divergence on your MACD histograms. Lower lows in price, higher lows on the MACD histograms. So that's good. That's your daily chart. Bulls currently over the past few days are showing that they're gaining momentum for FET. This asset is strong, has been strong in the past, likely does well, likely breaks out. Bitcoin breaks out, FET is going to break out, it's going to do well. 538, 815, your next major target. Targets with an S. Bitcoin rejecting slightly on the 15-minute. 4-hour candle closed with a nice rejection wick. Although, take a look at your EMAs. If you look at your exponential moving averages, your 20 EMA on the 4-hour chart is pointed up at a 45-degree angle. Right? If you just hold your shift key on your trend line, it'll snap to a 45-degree. And that usually just means you have a lot of momentum. So it's above a 45-degree angle, which means you have a lot of upside momentum. Your EMAs are all pointed up. Well, your 20, your 50, your 200 on the 4-hour chart are all on an upward slope. So the momentum is up. So if you're shorting this, your gains are going to be very limited in time, most likely. Most likely. Now here, right, you can see the EMAs started to curl over right there. If you went short here, you had a lot of time to hold your short. The EMAs were pointing down. The momentum was shot on the 4-hour. Now it's pointed up. So it's like, okay, if you go short here, you got to expect that you're going to see like some wacky stuff, like some real wacky stuff. Because whatever's coming down, the momentum is still up. It'll bounce up. It'll hit your stop. It'll do all this stuff. It'll just be crazy, right? So be careful about shorting the momentum. The EMAs are still pointed up at a pretty steep slope. I think you're probably going to see coming down right now, you're probably going to see it come down, get balled up, bounce again, lower high. Even if it comes down later, shorting into this momentum is dangerous because it'll come down and then bounce up, hit your stops, come down, consolidate. And even if it goes down later, it's going to happen much later, right? But the momentum is up. So I have to be bullish. And also there's a lot of short positions in that wick trying to short the all-time high zone. If you break the wick high, you're looking at a break above, well, obviously a break into a new all-time high, but in the short term, at least like 75,500 would be the target on the 4-hour if you break the wick high, because those shorts will be trapped and will be forced to close into the new all-time high. I feel like shorting along that previous all-time high is kind of a risky move. Pretty risky move. Yeah, it might work out short term, might work out right now, but I don't think it's going to work out for much longer. So see, the momentum is up, so expect rebounds. And also the trap liquidity short squeeze that we talked about, if you're a viewer of this channel, that also played out. We hit the target. That target was reached. That target was set a while ago, 72,600. That's actually what we just hit today. So that setup played out. This setup, which was discussed really on that 4-hour close, has now fully played out. Targets were reached today. So let me go to, you can find that post for you so you guys can see what I'm talking about. It's right here. Check this out. This right here, this 4-hour candle, that's the target candle. That candle right there, again, this was posted on October 16th. That candle is this candle right here, this one right here. That was what we were talking about in this post right here. And so when you have a major rejection wick inside of a trending market, if the price breaks above that wick high, it usually results in fairly fast moves up. Now, it did take a while for us to actually run. It was almost a failed setup, almost failed, but it didn't quite hit the stop. And then it runs. And this is quite common, right? So the target candle, you place your stop loss 1 pip below the wick low, and your trigger long 1 pip below the wick high. And then you just wait. You wait for your target to get reached. You can have a progressive stop loss as it breaks out. If you're 50% of the way to your target, you raise your stop loss 50% of the way to the current price. If you're 75% of the way to your target, you raise your stop loss 75% of the way to the current price. So that if it dips, you're out with something, right? That's a progressive stop loss, which is recommended when you're trading setups like this. But it squeezed out to a 1 to 1.5, that target candle. Now, it's not totally the reason why this price action happened is not necessarily because of that candle, but it just so happens to be that these setups play out this way, and it tends to work. Trap liquidity short squeeze. So this was spotted a long time ago, October 16th. And what I'm saying is now, right, we have another huge wick on the 4-hour. Just like that 4-hour wick, which played out, look at this. We have another one right there. And if we break that, it's a 1 to 1.5 risk-reward ratio inside of a trending market when your EMA is up at a 45-degree angle or more. When your 20 EMA is up at a 45-degree angle or more, and you get a rejection wick, and the price breaks the wick high, squeezing the shorts, right? Because you have to think of it like this. This huge 4-hour wick is against the trend, which is up. The momentum's up. But you have all these short positions in that wick, which is against the trend. The EMA is pointed up. They are presumably on the wrong side of the market. But that is only confirmed when you break the wick high. And a 1 to 1.5 is the standard conversion for this type of a setup in a trending market. You can't use these you can't do this in a sideways market. It has to be trending. The EMA has to be up at a 45-degree angle or more. And the target, if we break the wick high, is going to be 75,500. Now, remember, it's not going to be a straight line. You could always do this and come down, do this, and then hit it later. Usually that's how it goes. And honestly, if we break the all-time high, this target is kind of just it doesn't matter too much because it's the all-time high, and we'll probably end up doing something. The market won't care about this. Like what I'm trying to say is the enthusiasm, the amount of volume, the amount of new participants, whatever. That target is above the all-time high, and it probably doesn't even matter anyway. But in any normal setup that isn't this historic Bitcoin all-time high, that's how you would want to do it. Roger, that says, whoever knows how many times Kevin said parabola at the end of the live stream gets 1 month of Discord access for free. I guess I'm volunteering Discord access. Someone's going to go back and count it. Yeah, descending broadening wedge. Someone's asking about that. 91 to 94,000 is the target when you measure from the high to the low of the pattern. That is what the textbook says. And it sounds crazy, right? Sounds so crazy. Oh my God. 91 to 94. But that breakout zone to that high, it's a 36% move. 36. After the ETF approval low, Bitcoin went up 91%. And all I'm saying is this descending broadening wedge has a price target of 36% to the upside. And people are freaking out, saying, I'm crazy, you're a moon boy. Guys, it's 36%, if I'm not mistaken. Just about. It's not really that crazy. really not that crazy. I mean, we've seen this stuff happen the whole past year or two, right? I mean, this was 100% from the low up to the ETF. You know, that's 96% from that low, 96%, you know, and all I'm saying is 36% up. That's not really that crazy, guys. Come on. This is Bitcoin. This is Bitcoin. This is just how it goes. 36% is really not that nuts for Bitcoin. Settle up for base 4, and then maybe break the parabolic trend and create a larger parabolic trend, and then look to go to the sell point of 124,000 based on the textbook parabola. Is that the end of the cycle? I don't know. 124,000 is simply what the textbook says. From base 3, the middle of base 3 is 62,000 times 2. Stock price doubles, says the textbook. 124. Yeah, I mean, that is what the textbook says. It's not really my opinion. I'm just extrapolating what is said here onto Bitcoin's chart. That's it. That is the current estimated cycle peak if we remain within the parabola. Things can change. If Bitcoin goes up much faster than expected, hits a much higher target, is looking really strong, there's a good narrative. You know, we're not even halfway through, or we're not even into Q2 of next year, and we've already had a nice consolidation at a much higher level. Okay, maybe the price target could be raised to 142,500, which is my other target. But I don't think it's going to be anything. I don't think it's going to be much higher than that. There is a fib target at 155,000. But 124,000 to 142,500 is my sort of target range for this cycle. Those are the two targets, the two prices that I've come to. And they seem really realistic, actually so realistic that people are angry at me and they say, Kev, you're not bullish enough. 124,000, that's bearish, they say. You know what? I mean, I'm fine with that. That's cool. That's fine. I mean, honestly, the more realistic your target is, probably the better you're going to perform in this cycle. You won't be holding the bag again, right? Come on. Come on, guys. Don't raise your targets. You know what you should do, actually? You should find reasons on why you could lower your target. Because you know what everyone does? They find reasons on how to raise their target to an even higher price. But the way to win is to bring the goalposts a little bit closer in, so you can take profits a little quicker than everyone else, and maybe you'll, sell when most people don't, right? I mean, bring the goalposts closer. Find reasons to actually lower your target. Be a skeptic. Don't just raise your targets every time Bitcoin sees a green candle. Because, by the end of this parabola, if you're one of those people, you'll be calling for 500,000 or something. You got to be realistic, guys. Find reasons on why your targets are too high. That's what you should do. Because then you'll probably take profit. Boom. You'll go home with more money than you had before. And that's the goal. This is a cool tool from Kraken Labs. See if it loads. It was loading earlier. I'm not sure what's going on now. Wait. We'll come back to it. Yeah, people say I'm bearish because my price target isn't high enough. You really can't please everyone, man. You really can't. Last cycle, people saying, your price targets were too high, which they were. Now they're saying it's too low. You know what? I'm just going to stick with that. If people are telling me that my targets are too low, I'm just going to stick with that one. I'll just stay there because you know what? That's probably better than the other way around, right? 124, as high as 142,500, which is a reducing ratio calculation. I'll just show you that since I'm talking about it. Why am I saying that number? Some of you may want to know. Some of you probably already know if you've been watching me or in my Patreon Discord. And that is this chart, which I made, what was it? it was like it was right after the Bitcoin ETF approval. I basically just used ChatGPT to create a reducing ratio calculation for the highs and the lows. From cycle low to cycle high, 60,000%. And then same thing, 10,000, 2,000. So 60,000 divided by 6, 10,000 divided by 5, 2,000 divided by 4. So 6, 5, 4. 60,000 divided by 6, 10 divided by 5, 2 divided by 4 equals 500. That's the ratio, reducing ratio. Cycle low to high, 500%. And then on the upside, this was one that it had to be a little bit tinkered with because I had to. ChatGPT was giving me a result that was basically I didn't tell ChatGPT what my goal was. I was just giving it the numbers, and then it was giving me a result that was not allowing for any growth. And I was like, all right, these numbers are for a reducing ratio calculation, expected market growth for an asset. While allowing for market growth, what would the next number in this sequence be? And then it gave me 185%. So as high as 190,000, as low as, so the low target for the cycle is 95,000, the high target is 190,000, but the median target between these two numbers is 142,500. So the textbook is telling us if this parabolic continues, 124,000 is the peak of the cycle. The reducing ratio calculation is saying about 142,500 is the median. So those are the two numbers I have right now for you guys for end of cycle. It may not be the most exciting, but you know what? It's probably the most realistic, and it's the most likely to show up. Far more likely than the people that you watch that are saying 250, 300, 500. I mean, come on. Why are you even listening? Like, why? Like I don't know. I'm not even going to say anything, but some of the content in this space is absurd. It's absurd. You know, people become famous for making insane predictions. People say 1 million in 1 month, and all of a sudden they have like 1 million views and 500,000 subscribers on Twitter. It's like, people really eat this stuff up. It's crazy. It's crazy. Come on. Come on, guys. Use your brain. Nothing's going to, I was criticizing people that make insane predictions. Somehow, a lot of you guys believe it too. It's crazy. So, yeah, once again, the first price range on a break of the descending broadening wedge is 91 to 94,000. That is the base 4 price objective of the parabolic trend. Now, this is a monthly parabola. It's not going to happen overnight. It took almost 2 years for Bitcoin to go from 15,000 to today. 2 years. So what's drawn on the screen is like just think of it as a year. It's a year. Just consider it. You might as well just think it that way, right? Have your expectations in line. It may not actually be a year, it might be less, but still. It might be exactly a year. We'll see. Realistic expectations are definitely, I mean, I guess something that people don't really consider is how much time things take. Things take so much time. Markets take so much time to play out. I mean, we literally haven't seen this price today show up since March. But then, things go sideways, and then sort of the growth, you miss the growth if you're not in for, how many weeks is that? If you weren't in the market, what is it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks? If you missed these 6 weeks, you missed the growth. So time in the market is important. If you missed these 6 weeks, you missed from here to there. Everything else is just noise, nonsense. 6 weeks. You missed it. Oops, too bad. And you know what? Even from here to here, you pretty much, the growth was like nothing because we went wick to wick. Of course, you're not necessarily gonna buy at that point. You could just go from candle body closes to the next candle body closes, and the growth that you got from candle body close to candle body close low, from the high here, the ETF zone, to the candle body close low of our current sideways range. If you missed 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks, oops, you missed the growth. So you have 6 weeks that you can't miss. 4 weeks, you can't miss those. Because guess what? Everything else is just nonsense, nonsense, nonsense. So there's very few weeks within these cycles that actually mean a lot for your portfolio. And you want to be in for those weeks. And you don't know when they're going to show up. It could be the next several weeks from now. Right? You might get a solid, I don't know, what is this? 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks straight up. I mean, from in the last cycle, you had like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, a couple red ones in there, but they were not they were not really rejection candles. They were higher lows. You basically went up for like, I mean, actually, this is kind of a funny thing too. Let's just do the candle body closes. Let's just be a little bit more fair. From the candle body close zones of 2019 and 2020 to the support of 2021. If you weren't in the market for 11 weeks, for those 11 weeks, you missed all the growth. You missed it. Oops. Sorry. Because guess what? The rest is just a bunch of nonsense. Nonsense. And you know what? You actually could have bought those prices again anyway in the bear market. There's very few weeks in these cycles where you got to be in it. You got to be in it. You just got to let it sit. Just sit on your hands and wait. And then just let those weeks show up that show all the growth. Pretty important thing too. Sean Goddard says, what are the odds that this is the cycle top? That this is the cycle top? Pretty low. Pretty damn low. I don't think this is the cycle top, guys. I don't see that. I don't see that happening. We're crossing up on the weekly MACD right now. Usually that kind of a cross leads to a lot of time spent in positive territory. And, yeah, I mean, the election, guys, the election is usually where things get really, really bullish for this market. Has the highest hit rate of really any other seasonality is the election seasonality. 700 people watching, guys. Make sure you all smash that like button and subscribe if you enjoy this kind of content. If you don't, well then, I guess you don't have to. All right, guys, that is it for today. I hope you enjoyed this live stream. Just wanted to come on here, talk about a few things, discuss some targets, the longer term and the short term. Kind of just went off on some tangents, giving you guys the information I think maybe would be helpful to you. And we'll be doing these live streams more, especially as this cycle kicks off, as things are happening. Looking at the tickers at the bottom, Dogecoin is up 14%. That's wild. So, it's only a bull market when Dogecoin pumps. Once Dogecoin pumps, the bull market is then confirmed. And we've made it, guys. Dogecoin is pumping, which means the bull market is here. That is a crypto market tradition. So let's go, guys. Hope you enjoyed. I'll see you all in the next live stream or the next video or the next meme, whatever it is I make. See you guys soon.